What does it take to be a great leader? It takes power! Although some of that might be true, in most cases, it's not ultimate power. But we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to answer your questions about what types of power leadership actually has. The first type of power we're going to talk about is position. You have power of position that is usually given to you for the corporation that you work at. Along with power of position comes the power of authority, and that's also given to you by the corporation. It allows you to make decisions, make hard choices, planning and developing what it takes to make goals and achieve long-term results. That's all power of authority, but that's given to you. Those are the only two things that's actually given to you when it comes to power of position. Great leaders know they cannot rely on just those two powers to become great leaders. There's several other powers that you need to develop. You need to nurture these powers and learn how to use them every single day to be that successful leader. Again, we're all on the pathway to leadership, so we want to learn and teach. And we have to learn these powers and then teach them to others. So after position and authority, the first step is to learn how to influence others. And I gotta tell you, the best way to do that is to learn how to build relationships. So the power of relationships, once developed, that helps you gain influence over others. Leaders gain this influence through their formal and informal networks, both inside and outside of the organization. Harnessing the power of relationships is probably the number one thing that will help you on your pathway to leadership. Now let's get into the other powers. The next power we're going to talk about is how to use the power of rewarding. It's the ability to actually reward both financially, mentally, emotionally. In other words, you encourage people to do a great job for you and to be part of the team because you've mastered the power of reward. You reward them by they could reach goals. And you could just say, hey, you were outstanding today. That personal recognition is mostly a reward. And you can use that. Sometimes it's monetary. Hey, here's $100. Great job today. I'm going to give you a little bonus. There's legals, disclaimer, legals, but in your organization, when you use the power of reward, that goes so far into keeping people motivated. And too often than not, leaders will exercise the opposite of that, and they'll exercise punishment. And I'm telling you right now, when you start exercising punishment over reward, then you start to lose a lot of employees. And, you're going to see your turnover rate just go so high because you're not rewarding the positive work ethic. You have to reward it. If you're relying just on the power of punishment, then I'm going to tell you right now, that only goes so far. Yes, it has to be used. But the power of punishment has to be used judiciously. The power of reward, you should be rewarding for every good activity. This next power is a touchy subject with some individuals. So I'm just going to nail you right between the eyeballs. It's power of information. It's twofold, though. Number one, you got to know what you're doing. So if you're in business and you want to be in leadership, you have to be an expert in something, okay, related to the business. So you need that power of information. The other fold, the second part of that, is knowing what information is public knowledge and what information isn't. So, good example, employee comes to you and starts talking about personal issues in their life. If you're that type of person that passes that along to everybody else in the company, you're not doing the right thing. Okay? Loose lips sink ships. Loose lips, you lose all of your credibility as a leader, and you will not get followers. Okay? People do not want to be able to confide in someone knowing that what they say is just going to get out. However, as a leader, you're going to have to digest the information that you receive and know when it is appropriate and not appropriate to move it up the ladder. So I caution you on this. Don't overlook the skill. And you know what? Most likely there's somebody above you in your organization that you can confide in and ask the hypothetical questions. You can do this by still keeping someone's information private. So be careful on this one. Now, one last thing about the power of expertise and information. Some people are really good at some of the leadership skills. I mean, they're outgoing, they can motivate, they can keep a team, but they're lacking on the expertise needed. There's nothing wrong with teaming up with one of your colleagues that maybe they have more expertise in the field, but because you have the charisma and the leadership skills, you might develop a team. Remember, it's all about relationships. That power of relationships is most important. So don't worry about not having all the answers. Worry about where you get them from and who you can build a relationship with so that your team and organization moves forward, because that's what it's all about. So I'm sure you're starting to see that there's a lot of personal powers that we all need to develop as leaders. Again, it's not about just position. It's not about authority. It's all the other powers that you have helped yourself develop, and you started to become an expert at these. That's what's going to make people want to follow you. That's what's going to make people want to trust you. What you do today is the first step on building your future tomorrow. Don't wait. There's plenty of things online. You can Google this all day long. All right? I don't make these things up. I look, I research, and I find all the commonalities. And personal power is something we all need to develop for ourselves. Now listen up, this next one's really important. Be the mentor you wish you had. That's a powerful statement. Be the mentor you wish you had. Be the coach you wish you had. So look back on your life, turn the clock back, and say, if at this point in my life, way back when, I had this type of mentor that would have helped me along the way, that's the mentor you need to be. And that is a superpower like you wouldn't believe. Because there's nothing better in the world than when you can turn around and help develop somebody and push them forward in their life. And being the mentor you wish you had will definitely help you out with that superpower. So now let's recap. It's not about position. It's not about title. It's not about that given authority that you got from your boss. It's all about those personal power skills that you're going to learn along the way. And the faster you start developing them, the sooner you're going to get great results on your pathway to leadership. So make me a promise, and I want you to drop it in the comments below. Make me a promise that you promise after seeing this video, you're going to start developing yourself and others by developing your leadership powers. I'm John with Pathway to Leadership. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do it now. And if you haven't subscribed, it's just below the video. 2 seconds, boom, you're in the subscription. I will see you next time on Pathway to Leadership.